Yeah.
Hey yo, man, it's your time. Man, fuck poverty. Get this money, man. Fuck you gotta do, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you're mad at me just by how your face look. You can check the status on my level, not my.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy the Judgmental Podcast. I'm Leroy, no Philip today. We got a guest, as you can see on the title. This is our NBA 2001, 2020, 2021 NBA wrap up, and we have Ryan Gutierrez. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good, my man. Happy to be back with you.
Okay. How hot is it in Arizona?
It's 100. It's brutal because there's humidity right now too. So it's really sticky outside with the heat. Not a good combination.
Do everyone have central air?
Oh yeah, definitely in Maricopa County and Phoenix. Yeah. Up north it's a little different. They don't have cooling and stuff like that because they usually keep the windows open, or they have heating because it gets so cold. Kind of similar to what you guys have in Philly, but yeah, down here in the valley, our AC runs 24/7.
Oh, goodness. In the morning time, early in the morning, what's the weather in the morning time? Is it like 80, 90s?
So since we've been getting a lot of moisture the last couple weeks, the mornings have been a little mild. This morning it was 78, but we had 87% humidity. So here it doesn't really, the native Phoenicians, the people who've been here for quite a few years now, it doesn't bother us. Like I went and jogged in Tempe this morning and I thought it was tremendous and perfect outside, but it definitely gets to you. It's not the same as like what it is in December and January. That's for sure.
Oh, I can't see myself. I don't know. I guess see you're used to it, but
it doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Right. I can't imagine being somewhere where it's like 110 degrees outside.
Yeah. The thing with the 110, it feels different. See, 110 feels nicer than it does with like 100 and humidity.
Right.
It's more bearable. The humidity, it sucks here. It is not fun.
Oh, okay, so what do you do with dogs and stuff? I know dogs can't stay outside in that weather, right?
Absolutely not. No, they or no walking and stuff like that. Everyone, animals, people, everything, bugs, insects, whatever is inside when we're in late July, early August in Phoenix.
So having a car with no air conditioner is just out of the question, huh?
I would feel awful for someone who has to endure that. Oh gosh. And the funny thing is, speaking of like car AC and stuff and AC in general, this is usually the time when everyone's AC breaks too in the valley. Oh, okay. Everyone's AC usually breaks around this time of the year.
So let me ask you another question. Now, would houses have any heaters, like central heating?
Oh yeah, we have. Oh, it gets cold here. See, the thing about the 110 degrees in the summertime, it's a different kind of chill when it gets to like 50 in the 40s. I mean, sometimes it drops in the 30s and stuff like that. It's rare, but it happens, and it's kind of like a bone crushing sort of chill that goes through your body, and that's not fun either.
So, what about the fires in California? Are you getting a lot of haze there?
The thing about California is that we have our own wildfires that are going on here too, and we've had a brutal early summer, which is the hundreds of thousands of acres that have burned and stuff in Arizona. So this rain's come at a really good time, and that's helped a lot of people in northern Arizona and the eastern part of the state. But I mean, there's always a haze over Arizona at this time of the year, whether it's from California or Oregon or our own state. It's very unfortunate.
Oh, I just can't imagine me being there.
It's a fifth largest city in the U.S., man, and there was a stat with the real estate market just booming here that on average 220 people a day were moving to Maricopa County. So a lot of people are flocking here, and you can tell in the traffic, there is a lot of traffic nowadays compared to 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
So are these people, these are the people that's coming from California?
Right. I would imagine that most of the people are getting out of California and coming to Arizona.
So the property value is lower in California, and the weather is pretty much the same.
Yeah. Unless you're on the coast, but it's really expensive there. I mean, here you read about stories in the paper and online to where the houses that are for sale, they're getting $60,000 over asking price. It's like, oh my god! So everyone, it's a hot market here. It is very hot.
It's a hot market and hot outside, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's what I find it fascinating that people want to talk about the temperature and the weather, but they still end up coming here. It's like, wow. It's like,
Right.
hey, good luck. Good luck, man.
Right. As we talked about before, I think there's a lot of people that's from Philadelphia that lives in Arizona. A lot of people from Philly or the surrounding areas move in Arizona for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's
Right.
because of it's no winter, no hard winters or anything like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, the first time we talked, it was 70, maybe 65 and sunny in December. So I mean, that's what we live for. We know our time's coming.
Right. So last time we had Ryan with us, we did an NBA playoff preview, and we did brackets for NBA playoffs. So I'm going to go back to the brackets that we picked, and none of us know shit about basketball, so don't
Amen to that.
listen. Don't listen. But between you and Philip, you did one team better than Philip, and I'll get to it. I'm gonna start off with you first.
Okay.
All right, so we have 76ers going against the Wizards. First round, 76ers won 4-1. We have the Knicks versus the Hawks. I'm sorry. You picked the Sixers. You picked the Sixers, and the Sixers won 4-1. 4 games.
Okay.
Right. Knicks versus Hawks. You picked the Knicks. Atlanta won 4-1. Bucks versus Heat. You picked the Bucks. Bucks won 4-0. Nets versus Celtics. You picked the Nets. The Nets won 4-1. Okay, second round, we got 76ers versus ATL. ATL won 4-3. Well, you're already out because you already picked the Knicks for that.
Right. Man. Hey, that ATL, that was a surprise, man.
Yeah. Bucks versus the Nets. The Bucks won 4-3. So it's the Bucks and ATL and the conference finals, and the Bucks won 4-2. So the Bucks is in the NBA finals.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, on a Western Conference, Jazz versus the Grizzlies. The Jazz won 4-1. You picked Jazz, but the they had that buy-in game.
Right.
You picked the Warriors for that one.
But I'm still surprised they lost.
Yeah. Well, the same thing about the buy-in for the Pacers and Wizards. You picked the Pacers for that one, but the Warriors won. But that's fine. I don't care about that one. So we have Clippers versus the Mavericks. You picked the Clippers. The Clippers won 4-3. Nuggets versus the Trailblazers. You picked the Trailblazers. The Nuggets won 4-2. Suns versus Lakers. You picked the Suns, of course. Suns actually won 4-2. Now we have the Jazz versus the Clippers. The Clippers won 4-3. I'm not sure.
I think they beat him in 6.
Okay. So we have Denver versus the Suns. The Suns won 4-0. Swept them.
There was no chance for Denver in that series.
Well, this is how you won. You had two teams in the conference finals, Clippers versus the Suns.
Okay.
Too bad you ain't keep it real and you picked the Clippers.
And I tried not to be a homer, and I didn't factor in any injuries in my selections, and having Kawhi go down, man, that altered everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you know, the Suns won, so it's Suns and Bucks won 4-2. Now that's your bracket. Now let me pick up Phillips first. So this is Phillips' bracket. We have the 76ers versus the Wizards. 76ers won. He also picked the Pacers and the buy-in also. Knicks versus Hawks. He picked the Hawks. I'm sorry. He picked the Knicks. Bucks versus Heat. He has the Bucks. Nets versus Celtics. He has the Nets. So he has 76ers versus the Hawks. Well, he picked the Knicks, but the Hawks went. And he picked
Right.
He picked 76ers in the conference finals. Bucks versus the Nets. He picked the Bucks. Now that's his only conference team. Well, no, I'm sorry, but he had two. He had one on the. Well, I'll get to that. All right, Jazz versus the Grizzlies. He picked the Warriors as the buy-in, and he picked the Warriors as an upset.
Whoops.
Clippers and Mavericks. He picked the Clippers. We got Nuggets and Trailblazers. He picked the Trailblazers. Suns versus the Lakers. He picked the Lakers as his upset special. He had Warriors versus Clippers. So he has the Clippers beaten. So he has the Clippers in the conference finals. So he has the Bucks he has the Bucks on the Eastern Conference and the Clippers in the Western Conference. You actually had two teams going against each other in the Western Conference. So
Okay.
I don't know if you want to call that a win or not, or
Yeah, I guess so. With my tail between my legs right now.
Right. He has Clippers versus the Lakers. He picked the Clippers. He picked the Lakers in the finals. He had a 1980 finals with the 76ers and the Lakers. And
Beautiful.
He had the Lakers winning.
Oh, thank God they didn't.
So we have my picks. Wizards and Pacers in the buy-in. I picked the Pacers, but the Wizards won. So we have 76ers versus the Wizards. I have the 76ers. Knicks versus Hawks. I have the Knicks. Bucks versus Heat. I have the Bucks. Nets versus Celtics. I have the Nets. We have 76ers versus the Knicks. I have the 76ers in the conference finals. Bucks versus Nets. I have the Nets in the conference finals. Jazz versus Grizzlies. Jazz won. I have Clippers versus the Mavericks. Made an upset special, one of my upset specials, and had the Mavericks in there, but the Clippers won. Nuggets versus Trailblazers. I made an upset special and on paper it's not an upset special because they was number 3 ranked, but the injury and stuff, that's I consider that an upset.
Game changer, that's for sure.
Suns versus the Lakers. I picked the Lakers beating the Suns. So I have the Mavs versus the Jazz. The Jazz won. And the Nuggets versus the Lakers. I have the Nuggets and Jazz in the conference finals. And I have the Nuggets going to the NBA finals with the Nets. So I was already in the second round. It was already time to throw away my bracket.
Good. Sounds like March for me.
So for our MVP, we both picked Jokovic as our MVP. And for our Rookie of the Year, here's it gets interesting. We all said LaMelo Ball was going to win, but LaMelo Ball should win, but he had a whole bunch of injuries. So Phil and I picked Anthony Edwards out of the Timberwolves. You stuck to the guns and picked LaMelo Ball as the Rookie of the Year, so you won the Rookie of the Year award. Because we all say like LaMelo Ball should win, but he's been injured, missed a lot of games, so they'll probably just give it to Anthony Edwards. But
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the Sixers and the playoffs, Ben Simmons is getting a lot of heat. Well, we talked about this during some of our podcast episodes that Ben Simmons is getting a lot of heat for no reason, because I actually blame Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is the one that was he had a messed up rotation when it came to putting in players coming off the bench. The starters had to come in and kind of play catch up. Sometimes they'll catch up and win, and sometimes they will lose, because I felt as though the Sixers with the personnel against the Hawks, they should have easily beat the Hawks like 4-1 or 4-2, one or the other.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I just think Ben Simmons was in his own head, and I think Atlanta just peaked at the right time in the postseason.
Right.
It's an unfortunate turn of events for Philly.
Exactly. And now all the talk is Simmons is getting traded. I hope not. I can take I can take him not being a scorer, a jump shooter, but he brings defense to the table. Defense to me is just saving grace because okay, the point guards Trey Young, they would have 30 points when they were playing. But
Right.
look at his shooting percentage he had. He had a poor shooting those games.
Oh, absolutely. And to see, it's been a long time since I watched playoff basketball intensely like that. It's been 11 years for this market in Phoenix, and to see how much the game slowed down, how physical it got, having that defensive presence on the court, especially at 6'10", 6'11", Ben Simmons.
Yes.
I definitely think he's getting the raw end of the deal right now. Did he make some decisions that are going to be second guessed? Absolutely. And you just want to see more. Just prowess and stuff like that coming from a young star, all-star, and stuff like that. We have kind of similar issues with DeAndre Ayton. You just want to see more domination, which he showed in the playoffs, but we've kind of been missing that. It's like we just want you to hit a different level in a different gear. And with Ben Simmons, I mean, to have that kind of pressure on you in the playoffs and stuff, especially playing in front of big crowds again, I don't know whether that got to him, but it was unfortunate to see. And the Doc Rivers thing with what you said earlier, I completely agree. And I kind of think that's why he got run out of town in LA as well. He continues to live off this Boston championship in 2008 to where he had KG, Pierce, Ray Allen. Right. And I mean, I think me and you could have, and Phil could have led that damn team to a championship, maybe a couple of them if they didn't have Doc Rivers. But I definitely agree with your assessment that I think more Doc is the issue than anything else there in Philadelphia.
Yep. And it's almost like a lot of people are scared to admit that is Doc Rivers is a problem and not Ben Simmons.
I don't get why Doc Rivers is on this certain level to where he looks like he's a Hall of Fame coach. I don't understand it. Right. I don't get. You guys had the perfect candidate 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and Monty Williams sitting on your bench under Brett Brown, who would have been the perfect successor.
Yep. So, if you were the Sixers GM, would you trade Ben Simmons?
I mean, if I were a GM and Joel Embiid is the franchise there, I believe that's your number one player, and I think any good GM would always evaluate what you have value-wise in your core or your other pieces around him, whether that's Ben Simmons or some of the other kids that are there. I really like Matisse Thybulle a lot. I love that kid.
He plays good defense.
Oh, he's great. But you never know what another organization or another GM sees in a player. And if you get some sort of package or offer that just blows you away, you got to capitalize on it. With Ben Simmons, I mean, he's got a massive contract. And after that playoff performance, I just feel like that's going to be really hard to trade away.
Right.
All in all, I wouldn't trade him personally. The core needs to grow. Continuity is, I think, key for the Sixers going forward.
Right. I wouldn't trade him either. I mean, okay, can he score? Can he shoot foul shots? No. But playing defense means a lot.
Absolutely, especially in the postseason. But we saw the same thing in the finals with Giannis. Giannis was terrible. He shoot 58%, something like that, on the road at least. He was a lot better at home and in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. But, I mean, Ben Simmons is only 25 years old. It's like, man, the kid is obviously talented. And just get him in a gym. You go make 500 free throws every damn day until the training camp opens up in October.
Right. And how do you feel about how, the rumor is, I don't know if you heard about it here, that the Sixers can't contact Ben Simmons or he's not getting in contact with them.
That's where things are going to get very interesting when you start having conflicts to that degree. And that's if he hasn't requested a trade, then everything seems to be okay. But it's like that's where I want to see the development in a player. How great do you really want to be? Do you have it in you to be great? or are these outside factors going to either destroy you, build you, however you take it? But what do you have in yourself ultimately?
Right. So the NBA 2021 draft on Thursday, the Phoenix Suns draft 6'11 center Daron Sharp from North Carolina, traded to Nets for our old former teammate Landry Shamet, 24-year-old 6'4 point guard / shooting guard. Ron, how do you like this trade and pickup?
I think it's great. We added, so with the 29th pick, obviously, I mean, unless you have a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting a rotation piece at pick number 29. So to trade that pick away and to get someone who's established, who is on the verge of being a restricted free agent next offseason, he's going to come in highly motivated. Adrian Wojnarowski said that Monty Williams thinks the world of the kid. So there's that connection from the Philadelphia days there. You add a 38% three-point shooter to the bench, and to add a bench piece with pick number 29, who's an established, has an NBA background already, I think is excellent value for pick number 29.
Right. So you have Durko and Schmidt coming in onto the team. Is Durko going to be here?
Are you Dario Saric?
Dario, I'm sorry, I said Durko. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, he blew out his ACL in the NBA Finals. So
he's going for the next season.
He'll probably be out for at least 11 months. Yeah, it was unfortunate, and that's where we got exposed big time. Once we lost that 6'10" body, we were devastated on the rebound and defensive end.
Right. So the 76ers in the first round, 28th pick, guard Jaden Springer from Tennessee. Second round, 50th pick, 6'11" power forward / center Filip Petrov from Serbia, but he played in Gonzaga in 2019. I'm thinking he didn't play last year because of the pandemic. So right. he went professional in Serbia.
Yeah, I don't know much about. To be honest, I mean, with the Suns' run, I didn't pay any attention to the draft whatsoever. Usually, I'm like focused on the lottery picks. That's where we've been at every damn year. It seems like the last 10 years. So outside like the top 5, it's like I really didn't pay much attention to like the NBA draft this year. And I mean, God, just a week ago we were in the NBA Finals.
Right.
So that was a short turnaround for where we were at to where we were a couple days ago. But I mean, especially picking at the latter part of the first round, you just never know with these kids. Man, it's unfortunate that it's just such a crapshoot. It's like it's not designed like the NFL draft to where you get a lot of value in the second, third rounds. Like after the top 5, 7, maybe 9 picks in the draft, it's like after that, it's like who's who, and good luck. Take your pick.
Exactly. So also in the second round, Sixers draft 6'11" center Charles Bassey from Western Kentucky. That's a Pelicans. That was a Pelicans spot. The Eagles took over. CBSSports.com says Springer is a high-level defensive guard who is one of the youngest players in the draft. He should be able to compete for playing time immediately, depending on what the 76ers get in a potential Ben Simmons deal. Petrov could fill a hole at center if Dwight Howard goes elsewhere, while Beasley has major potential and a high ceiling if he can be developed. I think that Petrov is going to take the place of Mike Scott.
Okay.
So Mike Scott won't be here next year. In terms of Jaden, it's insurance because the Sixers got a lot of guards. So
right.
Matisse, Shake, Maxey, Curry, Forkmaz. Who else? That's the only point guards I can think of on the top of my head. Well, guards, not
that is guard. That is guard heavy too.
Yeah, so they have a lot of guards. So did they pick up Jaden for just in case if Ben Simmons not going to be here? I don't know. But
you got George Hill, Danny Green. Oh man, yeah, that roster is stacked with guards.
Right. Well, George Hill shouldn't be here next season. He shouldn't be here because he didn't really add nothing to the team anyway.
I just wonder where the contract issues and the luxury tax starts kicking in for some of these roster decisions that are made, because that's a lot of picks. I mean, even though the second round picks are not guaranteed roster spots,
Right.
That's the salary cap and the luxury tax plays a unique variable in all these situations.
Mm-hmm. So, boy, it's just a lot, too many guards on that team. I don't know what to do. And like you said, it's not like this is not the NFL how you could just cut players and all that. I mean, you can cut them, but you still want to have to pay them. But
Right. I mean, man, I can't believe it. Dwight made $1.6 million last year.
yeah,
And Mike Scott, Danny Green's a free agent, so there's $15 million off your books for next season.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I just hope they don't. I hope they get smart enough and not trade Ben Simmons.
I would just be curious to see what kind of offers you would get back, but I just don't know what kind of underwhelming offer you would receive if you're Philly. I think you have the value there already. You would never get anything back.
Exactly. So we can do a little bit of NFL talk. All-Pro edge rusher Chandler Jones reportedly requested a trade from the team this offseason because he's been upset with his contract situation and his future with the franchise. Jones, 31, is entering the final year of a 5-year, $82.5 million contract, and his $15.5 million salary this season is now fully guaranteed. Jones, who's 98 sacks since entering the NFL in 2012, are the most over that span, missed 11 games last season upon suffering a torn bicep. Now, of course, we can already tell the only reason why he wants to be traded is because he wants a new contract. He don't want to rely on that non-guaranteed contract,
Right.
money this season.
Right.
So,
It's he had 1 sack in the 5 games that he played last year. Whether you blame them on the pandemic, whatever it is, he did not play well in the first quarter of the season when he was available. And that's the problem with the NFL and their contract structures, to where every NFL player has a non-guaranteed deal. So you can sign one day, get cut the next. Does not matter in the NFL.
right.
So I understand where he's coming from, where he wants to have that long-term security and that big signing bonus, because he has been an incredible player since he was traded here from the Patriots. And I think he leads the league in sacks in 2016 or 16 or 17. I'm getting I know it was around that time, but 97 sacks in the league. So he has been a dominant force for the Arizona Cardinals. But this is a business, and it's tough. This is what the players agreed to where you sign the contract, you have to play it. And even the Cardinals have in their back pocket, Chandler Jones goes out there and balls out, gets 15, 16, 17 sacks this year. There's a franchise tag waiting for you, my friend.
Yep.
So that's just that's the collective bargaining agreement you guys agreed to.
Yeah, that's the only reason why he wanted to get out of there. But how do you think they're going to resolve this?
Chandler's a good kid, and he'll put his head down. He'll work hard. He'll ball out, and there's quite a bit of talent here. For the first time, I think, since Chandler Jones has been in Arizona. So they're expected to make the playoffs like we were last year. Mm-hmm. He's playing opposite of J.J. Watt now, and I know that's a big motivating factor for this defense all around. But they have a chance to really put up some crazy sacks numbers, total or tackles for loss and stuff like that. It could be a very dominant season for both defensive ends with the Cardinals.
Now, how do you feel about Kyle Murray?
If I want to take the homer hat off, I think Kyler Murray's a little overhyped. Don't get me wrong. I think he has a ton of potential, and that's like what I try to base my perspective off of, not being a Cardinals fan. Kyler has, his foot speed, his throwing power, his accuracy in college was great. It looks like it's declined a little bit in the NFL. I don't know if that's just him trying to catch up to the game and stuff like that. He had a lot of expectations coming in as the number 1 pick. They gave him the starting job before he was picked in Arizona. So I think Kyler can be a great quarterback. There's things that he still need to develop. He needs to figure out defenses and understand them more. That's been his one kind of calling card. Is once a defense, especially in the division of Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco, once these teams see Kyler again, he has a hard time figuring them out because of all the adjustments they've made. That's where Kyler needs to progress now or make progress. But I think Kyler has all the tools, the mindset, the capabilities, I think, to be an outstanding top-tier quarterback in the NFL, regardless of size and all that stuff.
Now, how do you feel about AJ Green?
Boy, that's you look at the numbers towards the last couple of years in Cincinnati, and they didn't pop off. He was injured. He was inconsistent. You kind of question his motivation. Since training camp opened up here in Glendale, he has been the talk of camp with how fresh and revitalized he looks and the catches he's making, just the way his body's moving for 31 years old, which that's my age. I mean, I don't feel old, but it's like, I can't believe that's considered like kind of like old in the NFL, but hey, whatever. But he's been the talk of the town, or the talk of the town locally. And if we can have someone opposite of DeAndre Hopkins that has that kind of talent, and he's on a 1-year prove-it deal too. He's trying to get paid like Chandler Jones is.
Right.
I expect huge things out of AJ Green.
It's definitely a make or break for him in his career, right? If he gets hurt, that's it for him.
Right.
So maybe it is some type of motivation for him.
They say he's in phenomenal shape, and it's tough playing with like a rookie like Joe Burrow, who is ultra talented, I think, as well. But to have some of the quarterbacks that he had in Cincinnati, of course, you're going to have poor numbers. And playing for an organization like that, to where ownership's questioned a lot, that's a tough situation to be a part of. So to have kind of like a rebirth here in Arizona might be the best thing for his career going forward.
Right. So on the Eagles front, the big talk here is keeping Zach Ertz. Jimmy Kempski of the PhillyVoice.com has an article titled "Keeping Zach Ertz on our Eagles roster in 2021 does not make much sense." He says Ertz is in his last year of his contract. He'll count for $12 million on a team salary cap in 2021, which would account for 6.2% of their available spend. If the team were to trade or release him, they would save on the $8.5 million in salary that Ertz is owed this season. My opinion is you have to keep him. You have to keep him because a young quarterback needs a veteran to throw to.
Right.
And you don't have any type of veteran wide receivers, no old veteran wide receivers. Our wide receiver is rookie Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor. Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, John Hightower, J.J. Whiteside. It's too many young wide receivers. There's nothing wrong with them, but you need a veteran wide receiver that he can depend on. Well, you have Dallas Goedert, but he's also a young player.
These guys are all injury prone too. That's the problem as well.
True.
I love the Devontae Smith pick, man. I think he's going to be one hell of a player in Philadelphia.
Right, especially he have his old quarterback that's throwing it to him.
Mm-hmm. I like Jalen Hurts a lot too. The kid is just a proven winner at the college level, at least. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a solid NFL player.
See, we can't really count last year because, as we already know, the team was in deep shit off the field, on the field, and off the field. All the stuff was going on between Wentz and Doug, and Wentz don't want to pick the plays that Doug was giving him and all that type of stuff. So the team was, and plus last year that the Eagles did have a lot of injuries. So
absolutely.
I think that the media make it seem like the Eagles were a bad football team, and they really weren't. They just had a lot of injuries.
Right, and factor in that the NFC East was weak last year, so every team was pretty much in it until the very end.
Right.
And to have, Look at what Carson Wentz is hurt again. Unfortunately, I feel bad for that kid. But
yeah, and that can mess us up because if he plays 70%, I think 70% of the snaps we get their first round draft pick. And no, I think it's like 75%. We get their first. I might maybe saying it wrong, but one is 75% and one is 70%. And they have to make if it's 70% of snaps and they make the playoffs, then we can get their first pick. So if he's already hurt right now, then there's a chance that we might not even get that pick.
Right. Just the stipulation overall is the kid has to be on the field, and he gets hurt all the damn time, and that's the issue.
Right. Yeah, glad we got rid of him. Got rid of him.
Jalen Hurts just seems like he's a baller, man. The kid just looks like he's born to play. I mean, he's so damn talented from his Oklahoma or Alabama days. I think Philly made the right choice going with Jalen Hurts.
Right. So that when we do our NFL preview special, do you want to be on?
Absolutely. I would love to be on.
Yeah, because last year we did it where we picked every team, their standings, every team who was going to go and who was going to win the MVP. And if you think this NFL bracket was shitty, you should have heard. I'm sorry, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Philip picked the Buccaneers to go to the Super Bowl.
That would be an easy choice, and you know what? That might be my damn pick right now too.
But see, the Buccaneers started slow first. They started slow and picked it up towards the end of the year. I think he had the Buccaneers. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So
that's a safe, comfortable pick right there.
Right. So we'll have you on when we do our preview.
Awesome. Perfect, man.
So Ryan, what's your social media?
So Twitter, I go at rgutie7, RGUTIE7. It's been a lot of Phoenix dominated sports lately, in particular the Phoenix Suns, but now we're transitioning into the Cardinals season. So there's this town's a little wounded right now, but we're starting to pick ourselves up a little bit and getting excited for football. But yeah, so Twitter, pretty active on Twitter. So that's where you guys can follow me if you're interested.
Where does the Cardinals training camp? Is it in Arizona?
Yes, it is out in Glendale, where their home stadium. So
they're practicing in 100-degree weather?
No, they usually have one practice outside. Kingsbury does one, maybe two, but none of them like it either. So it's all indoor. In their indoor stadium. Yeah, that's where they practice at. And it's a cool environment too. Fans are welcome. You can go sit in the air conditioning for a couple hours and watch them get after it. It's a cool experience out there.
Mm-hmm. So you can reach the Judgmentals on Facebook and Twitter at PNL Judgmentals, Instagram at _Judgmentals, and I always forget about the TikTok at PNL Judgmentals. You can email us at pnljudgmentals@gmail.com. I appreciate you doing this, Ryan.
Oh, anytime for you, Leroy.
Yeah, we'll have you back on that NFL preview.
I can't wait, bro. And I hope Phil's doing okay, man.
Yeah, he's all right. He'll be back.
Good. I can't wait. I want to talk some shit to him.
All right,
Leroy. You guys be safe, man.
Yeah, you too.
Yo, man, it's your time. And fuck poverty. Get this money, man. Fuck you gotta do, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you're mad at me just by how your face look. You can check the status on my level, not my Facebook. Comments on my photos, that's why I stay on the low. Most of y'all is associates, so I be on my dolo. Hold up, whoa, hold the phone. You think all I do is rap?